Hi everyone, this is Shamika. Today I'm going to be making my peach cobbler pound cake. So here I have 3 sticks of butter that's at room temperature. And at the beginning of this video I did have the recipe so you guys can pause the video and get that recipe. And I'm going to mix the 3 sticks of butter until it's creamed. And once it's creamed, I'm going to add in the 3 cups of sugar. Here I am mixing in the sugar. And of course, when you measure this, make sure you use a dry measuring cup. I only have it in this so it's easier for me to pour it into the bowl. And once I add in the sugar, I'm going to stop it and kind of bring down any of the batter down from the side so it can be well incorporated. So you just take a small spatula and mix it up. And you see here I'm just bringing everything down from the sides, making sure it's well incorporated. And so this is how your mixture should look now with just the butter and the sugar. And I tried to show this in real time so you can see how long I'm mixing the butter and the sugar. Throughout this whole process of making the cake, I tried to show you the real time of how I'm doing everything so you'll have an idea as you're making the cake for yourself. Next, I'm going to be adding in my 5 eggs that are at room temperature. And actually, I did 6 on this one because my eggs were a little small. They said large, but once I took a look at them, they were small. So if your eggs are not that large, you can use 6. Do not use more than 6 eggs. But the recipe called for 5 large eggs, and if your eggs are not large, of course, you can add an extra one, like I did here. So you'll want to add your eggs in one at a time.
You can rinse it out. Use hot water.
On this day is Mother's Day, so my daughter came over and cooked dinner for me for Mother's Day, so you'll hear me talking to her in the background. And the food was actually really good. And this cake is really not hard to make. It's just a matter of just going through the process. And it turned out really good. Real moist pound cake. It was really good. And that was my last egg. And again, I'm just gonna go scrape everything from the sides. Make sure everything is well incorporated. Here I got a cup of milk at room temperature. I'm adding in some vanilla extract and about a teaspoon of this orange extract. I also added some almond extract. You'll see that later in the video, along with just a tad bit more of vanilla. Here I'm adding the 3 cups of swan cake flour. Now this gave me a tiny kickback on me. I was making a mess, but I made it through. That's all I can tell you. I was covered in flour, but it turned, like I said, I just kind of slowed it down a little bit. And I'm alternating between the milk and the flour. And believe it or not, this is the lowest setting on this mixer. I wish it was a little slower so my cake flour didn't fly all out. But again, are you cooking if you're not making a mess? So here I'm really taking my time adding it in, trying to keep from losing any of my flour. So I add a little flour, then I alternate with milk. And I made sure milk was the last thing that I added in when I was going back and forth, incorporating the flour in the milk. And so now I have it all mixed in. And also in my flour mixture, I did add my baking soda in that.
Yeah.
Or baking powder, rather. I added my baking powder in it. And again, you'll see the recipe at the beginning of the video. So here I added just some almond extract and a little bit more of the vanilla. And what made me do that, I just tasted a little bit of the cake batter and decided I need just a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to mix that in.
She won the money. Yeah. Oh wow. Be careful, don't touch no money or no water.
So here I have cans of peaches. I'm adding in some cinnamon and some nutmeg, along with some brown sugar. And you drain the juice off the cans of peaches. I try not to let it be too moist. I don't want it to change the balance of my cake. And once I do this, I line the bottom of my bundt pan with the peaches. I've already done that to the side. I forgot to put that on camera. Here I'm just doing what's going to be on my topping after the cake bakes. But it'll give you an idea what I did with the peaches that I lined in the bundt cake. One thing I didn't do was chop them up. And I'll show you how the bundt cake is lined here in a few seconds. So here I lined the bottom of my cake pan. Add a little brown sugar at the bottom. And now I'll pour my cake batter in. And layering the peaches like this actually gives it a nice presentation once it's through baking. And here I'm just going to smooth that batter out. And when you're adding this, make sure you do not fill it to the top. Leave a little room at the top so the cake is going to expand and rise. Here I'm adding chopped up peaches in the middle. And this all, like I said, it's going to kind of, peaches are sort of heavy. So as it's baking, it's going to fall to the bottom. But I wanted that nice presentation, which is why I put the peaches the way they were at the beginning, and then I'm adding this in just so it have that peach cobbler flavor as you're biting into that cake. And I'm going to swirl that, making sure I don't touch the peaches that are lying at the very bottom of the cake pan. Just kind of swirl it just a little, mix it in. And once I finish mixing that, I'm going to add another small layer because again, I want to leave about a half an inch at the top so it gives the cake a little room to rise so it doesn't pour out into your oven. And again, I can't express this enough. Do not fill this cake pan to the top. Leave enough room for your cake to expand and rise. If you don't do this, you will have cake batter spilling all over your oven. And you're going to have cake batter left over. I made cupcakes with it. I made little mini cupcakes. So it's sort of like a mini version of the blunt cake that I'm making, or pound cake rather. So you don't waste any of the batter. And now I'm just going to tap the bottom so that I can knock out any air bubbles. Give it a nice tap, but don't tap it so hard you knock it out your hand. And I'll put this in the oven at 325 for about an hour. It took about an hour and 10 minutes. And so here I'm just using a leftover cake batter and I'm doing cupcakes. And again, be careful with this as well because this is going to rise. So try not to fill it to the top. So here I just added peaches in it. I didn't really care about a design in these. These were just like leftover batter, so I'm just making cupcakes. So here I'm just adding some peaches in so they can fall to the bottom. And once you bake these and take them out, you're going to flip them over just like you would do a upside down pineapple cake. You'll flip it over and then icing it because the peaches are going to drop to the bottom.
Or like crystallize on the top. You don't have to wait till your salmon to come out before I put these in. I'll put that on top of my cake when it's done. Your ass is ready too. You was ready.
Ruined it for me.
So I let the cake cool for about 18 minutes and then I took it out of the pan and this is what it looks like. Nice and pretty. Still hot and steamy. I'm going to let this continue to cool down before I add my crumble and my glaze and the rest of my toppings. So here I've added my glaze and my crumble topping. I'm adding some more of the leftover peaches that I had. And then I'll use the glaze to ice in the top of that as well. And again, like I said, this cake was really good. I was kind of proud of myself.
Mmm.
Here I'm just adding the glaze. And the glaze is real simple. You just use powdered sugar and a little bit of the juice that's left over from the peaches. And you get it in the consistency that you like. My daughter is filming, so you'll hear her salivating in the background.
Put some on this side.
And this is one of those cakes where it's really rich. So yeah, once you eat up one slice, it was enough for me. I couldn't go back and get it anymore. It was just too much. It was really sweet. Really good, but sweet.
No, it was already dead.
And here it is after a few minutes.
It got me in the car on the way here. I need a charger, honey. Oh, I got a pink charger upstairs.
And here are my Mother's Day flowers that I got. Now let's cut into this bad boy. It was very easy it was really moist. Now I will say that this pound cake was very moist. And it was really good.
Could have did that slower.
And as you can see, the peaches all went to the top of the cake. Even the ones that I put in later on and swirled around.
Get in here.
And look at all that ooey gooey goodness.
Many ones.
And here are the cupcakes that I did. And I did the same thing, added the peaches, the crumble, and the glaze on top of these as well. So guys, I want to thank you. Please try this recipe. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, add a comment. Let me know what you like to see me bake or cook. Don't forget to click that notification bell. And also, this day was Mother's Day, so my daughter came over and she cooked for me. So as I was baking, she was cooking, so I turned around and filmed what she was doing. And this is the end. We had stuffed salmon with crab cake, baked potato, and broccoli. And it was actually really good. Thank you guys.